Welcome to Conversations with My Real Friends. This is Jennifer Felten. I'm joined by my friend David Hitt.
Hello, Jennifer.
Thank you for joining me, David.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about probate sales today. So in a probate sale situation, we have a court that is overseeing any sort of transaction that's happening with the estate, including the sale of real estate. Mm-hmm. So when we got a court involved, it means time, right?
It can anywhere, a lot of times in a probate, between 6 months to a year, potentially.
Right, that's a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And especially as markets shift and change.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you said, 6 months in a year, what's the difference? What kind of factors can go into the timing?
Well, it depends on, in a probate, whether they have full authority or partial authority. Mm-hmm. And with full authority, I think the chances of it being the shorter amount of time possible is greater.
Correct.
With the limited authority, that of course requires the longer time because it has to be approved by a court.
Correct.
And they have to be scheduled, and depending on how busy they are, et cetera, may take
courts
longer.
Are not the quickest.
Yes.
Right. Whenever we have to have a court involved, we're not speeding up a process for sure.
Right. And with the trust, trust sale, as you know, if the trust was set up properly by a great trust attorney, it can be as easy and streamlined as a traditional real estate sale.
Right. So in both cases, we have an heir, right? A third party who wasn't the owner selling the property.
Correct.
But how much authority they have, what they can and can't do, differs significantly.
Yes.
Even with a full authority probate sale, we still have to give notice to the beneficiaries, and there's time that goes into that doesn't happen in a trust transaction.
True.
Right?
True.
So,
it's a lot
note
more
to
complicated.
Self, get a trust.
Get a trust. Yeah, if anything, nobody, I think everyone in America, they don't want to talk about or think about needing a trust or end of life planning or retirement, but it's just so much easier for yourself and for your family and your heirs to plan in advance.
Right. Well, we only talked about time. That we didn't even talk about the money piece of it, right?
No, right.
That people worry about the cost of setting up a trust, and it does cost a little bit of money to set up a trust, but it's way cheaper than a probate.
I think, is it somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000?
It depends on the attorney and the complexity of the estate.
But that's not a lot of money to save you, maybe tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars later by avoiding the probate process and going to court.
Well, $1 million probate, you're looking at $17,000 minimum, right?
And the $3,000 to $5,000 in advance is a big savings.
Right. And, we talk about it from a real, say the $1 million house, right? Which is a small house here in California, right? The probate's $17,000. It's based upon the value of that house, irrespective of the loans. So they might have $1 million house, but they owe $900,000 on it. So the estate's only $100,000, but the probate's still valued at the value of the estate. So we're looking at $1 million probate, even though there's really only $100,000 in assets.
So there's, again, less money coming to them at the end.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So if you want to take care of your family, get things set up.
Get a trust.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So if people want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
That's a good question. My website is thehithometeam.com. My last name is spelled Hitt like Tom, thehithometeam.com.
Thank you, David, for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of Conversations with My Real Friends.